we have a lot of people who still work from home. It's become a kind of a battle for some companies. They're trying to get their employees to come back, and employees have kind of decided, I like working at home, and they don't want to come back. But turns out
you get comfortable is what happens.
Well, you do.
I did.
You get comfortable.
I worked at home for 18 months.
But Zoom meetings, this is the latest battle that I've seen. You have these Zoom meetings, and a lot of people aren't even turning on their camera for whatever reason. They're just kind of worn out with the whole thing. And you just sit there and you listen to people drone on, and it's starting to wear on people.
Okay.
Spencer O'Leary joins us. He's the CEO of Active Ops. He is an expert on managing remote employees. Hello, Spencer.
Hi, good morning.
It seems like Zoom is kind of an easy way to do business, but I keep hearing the latest is that people don't even want to turn on their cameras. They don't want to be seen anymore.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things going on as we get to this stage of sort of, if you like, post-pandemic business world where people are drained. It's not so much by the medium of online meetings and people who use Zoom or Teams or whatever they're going to use. It's the fact that there's an inappropriate level of inclusion going on. In your intro there, you talked about you just sat in a meeting listening to people going on and on. The number of times I hear about meetings where 20 or 30 people have attended the same online meeting, I'd encourage any manager out there today, every time you have a meeting, question yourself, would you bring that many people together in the office to sit in a meeting room together? Most of the time, the answer is probably not.
Spencer, I get the idea that a lot of times they make you come to the meeting just because seeing your face, they want to know that you're actually working. There's always that suspicion that people working from home aren't really working.
Yeah, and I think a lot of businesses have got into that cycle of they need to have regular meetings for their entire team or their entire department a few times a day, maybe morning, lunchtime and afternoon. And that's often driven by a lack of data that managers have at their disposal so that they can understand what's going on, they can understand who's doing what in an appropriate way. Managers need to know what's going on. So the only thing they've got at their fingertips, at their control, is to constantly bring people together and sort of reassure themselves that everyone's been productive and is working.
This is Spencer O'Leary. He is the CEO of Active Ops North America. We're going to take a quick time out. We're coming back to Spencer. We're going to talk about whether companies who do offer working from home might have the advantage on finding the employees they need.
Spencer O'Leary is with us this morning. He is an expert on managing remote employees, which means Zoom meetings. And Spencer, I did that for 18 months. But something that kind of confuses me is 80% of workers have physical ailments. What in the world would be a physical ailment to a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, and I think it's less about the Zoom meeting and the medium. It's more about the fact that people are sat in a chair for 8 hours and not moving because they're in back-to-back calls, and that's the normal part of their working day. So every person needs to, we did it when we worked in the office. Maybe every couple of hours you get up, you go to the water cooler, you go to the coffee machine, and you don't just sit there hunched over a computer and be on screen. So I think the ailment has got less to do with the fact that people are in meetings. It's more to do with the fact that they're sat in a chair and maybe need to get up and about a bit more often.
I think back to when we were broadcasting from home, and that's the truth. If I think about it, I can see myself sitting at the office desk for 4 hours and not really moving a lot.
And not really doing your body probably any good. So one of the things I'd encourage all businesses out there, all managers who are listening today, is make sure you invest in the right technology. Come and speak to people like Active Ops. We help you measure how your employees work. It's not just about them being productive. It's about some of those well-being issues, those employee well-being issues. Make sure people are taking appropriate breaks, stepping away from the computer, getting out of their chair, and make sure that we get this balance right. Working from home can be an appropriate and productive way for both employee and employer. We just need to invest in some different technology to make sure that we're managing those environments appropriately.
Spencer O'Leary, the CEO of Active Ops North America, with us. Are companies that allow people to continue working from home, are they going to have the advantage over companies that say, we want you back in the office, as far as gaining new employees or finding the people they need?
I think both finding the people they need and retaining the good talent they've got. I'm seeing more and more job adverts out there now that use at least hybrid work. Hybrid work meaning I work from home some of the time and only go into the office for some of the time. But they're using that alongside pay and benefits. This is an advantage of working for my company if you can come here and only have to come into the office a few days a week or a few days a month. So I'm already seeing that in the market. It's a lever that employers are able to pull. And those who invest in the technology, they invest in the know-how, and they allow their employees to work from home and from the office are going to find they retain and find the best talent.
You find it generational. In other words, 2.5 years ago when the COVID hit us, say take an 18-year-old that is now 21, and are the younger people, 22, 23, they're used to working from home, and do they have an attitude of, I don't want to go in, I'm working from home, as compared to the 55-year-old guy who's used to going in? Is there a difference?
I am seeing a difference in generation, and I'm seeing it at both ends of the spectrum. I'm seeing the younger generation who kind of, some of them don't know any different and they've just made it work, so why change? I'm also seeing some of the older generation who were really resistant against going home and not coming into the office every day, something they'd done for 10 or 15 or 20 years. That generation are also starting to say, why did I spend my entire working life on a 2-hour commute and spending, $50 a week on gas, or $150 a week on gas now? So both ends of the spectrum. I'm finding that middle group, sort of the later 20s to the maybe even early 50s, who are saying career progression is limited when you don't have human face-to-face contact. And that's the part of our generation that are looking to at least go back in the office a couple of days a week or a couple of days a month, so they can congregate, collaborate, meet their boss, and work out how they're going to get promoted into their next job.
The CEO of Active Ops North America, this is Spencer O'Leary with us on News Talk 820 WBAP. Spencer, thanks for coming on this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.